rain, what a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart now. Ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come up with the rain of a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain. I'm singing, just singing in the rain. I'm singing, just singing. I'm happy again. I'm laughing.
A wet day on Saturday the 15th of June provided the setting for the 1991 Whitley Rose Queen Fete. The rain continued to fall as preparations for the procession went ahead as planned. Spectators still turned out unperturbed by the heavy downfall.
I love my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain. I'm singing, just singing in the rain. I'm singing, just singing in the rain.
The umbrellas were out in force, large ones and small ones, and if you were very lucky, gigantic ones. No matter what, they all did their job perfectly. The procession eventually moves off despite the rain. Everyone smiling happily whilst sidestepping the puddles and feeling the rain running down their necks. This was a memorable day. Retiring Queen Dawn Pattinson leads her retinue Janine Irving, Emma Percival, Rachel Barron, Richard Horton and Henry Wood ahead of Queen-elect Lorraine Eaton, Chief Attendant Christina Smith, Attendants Katie Goodacre and Natalie Cosgrove, Train bearers Toby Hurst and Mark Elliott. The crown bearer was Mark Bloor. The Rose Queen Committee's Plan A of crowning on stage was rained off, and Plan B, crowning in the marquee, had been decided on. However, as the procession appeared on the field, the rain eased off, and Plan A was on again, with committee and chairs hot-footing it to prepare the stage. Phew, just in time. As the procession arrives in the arena, Lorraine waits before making her way to the stage for the crowning ceremony. Crown bearer Matthew Bloor, his job nearly finished, watches as Christina Smith, Katie Goodacre, Natalie Cosgrove, Toby Hurst and Mark Elliott take their places.
I don't want to keep you any longer than that. It's just a short, brief speech, and we want to get on before the rain comes down again. So I'll just hand over to our President, Mr. Nick Carey.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and visitors, friends and children of Whitley. Ghastly weather. This is also going to be very quick, but I would like to say how pleased I am to be back on the stage of the Whitley Rose Queen fete. We have lived in this village for over 20 years, and I'd only been in the village for less than a year before I was on this committee, and for the next 16 or so helped to organise this annual event. During the last 23 years, the Rose Queen has only had 3 presidents. And Mr. Trippier, I don't know whether you're here, Mehdi, but they were good years in the 70s, I thought. Finally, I am delighted now to introduce Mrs. Jane Johnson. Jane's mother was one of the very first people in the village to welcome us to Whitley, and the rest of her family followed quickly. They are a real Whitley family. Jane, I'd be very pleased to ask you to crown the Rose Queen, Lorraine.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and friends and all the children of Whitley, this is a most exciting day for a lot of us. There's been a lot of preparation, a lot of rehearsals, and this is the end of all that. And I think it's very sad that it's so wet. But I also think that we really should hold a competition for the very nicest umbrella. I've never seen such a lovely array of umbrellas. Well, I do hope that she's going to have a most successful year, and that the weather and everything will be kind to her. Now then, may I have the crown? I now crown Lorraine, Rose Queen of Whitley, 1991.
The presentation of sprays were done by Jessica Barber to Mrs. Johnson. Mitchell Platt to Mrs. Carey. Robert Percival, whose legs suddenly get stage fright. Hannah Clark to Mr. Carey. And an even more reluctant William Huff to Mr. Littler. Nothing personal, Cyril. The Rose Queen Committee gift was presented by Mrs. Anne Brock. Now is the time for families and friends to present gifts and take photographs of this memorable occasion. Everyone seems well prepared this year, equipped with carry bags to take home their treasures. This is the attraction everyone, young and old, looks forward to the most, the Whitley Playgroup Fancy Dress Competition. Movie star Lindsay Evans, mechanic William Taylor, nurse Lauren Cox, Christmas tree Caroline Horton, Biggles James Taylor. William Huff as accident-prone Prince William. Hell's Angel Mitchell Platt. Noddy and Little Red Riding Hood Joseph and Lydia Woodman. And Jack and Jill Katrina Donlan and Robert Percival. Ladybird Andrew Percival, Little Chic Peter Cox. The judges were Peter and Valerie Charlton. won. This difficult decision has now been made. Christopher Aspinall, as a teddy bear, wonders if it could be him. First place was Lindsay Evans, the Hollywood film star. Second place was Mitchell Platt, the Hells Angel. And in third place was Katrina Donlan and Robert Percival as Jack and Jill. The theme for the WI's Novelty Parade was Travellers of the World, spanning over 5 centuries. Here we see Florence Nightingale, Neil Armstrong, Amy Johnson, Dr. Barbara Moore, Mrs. Pankhurst, Rachel Hayhoe Flint, Scott of the Antarctic, Sir Edmund Hillary, Mother Teresa and Mexican Traveller. Seafarers Sir Walter Raleigh and Sir Francis Drake. Romney with his gypsy friends and children, followed by Charles Darwin, who's just discovered a monkey on his shoulder. Although nobody's going to get sunburnt today, there was still plenty of activity going on at the sideshows. I think golf could just be this young man's forte. He seems well at home with his swing. Is Shell Chemicals collapsing? It's not the recession this time. I don't like the look of that. It's a bit too rough for me. children of Whitley School broke with tradition to form a highly polished and imaginative display, combining gymnastics with dance. The theme music from the film Chariots of Fire added drama and feeling to this well-rehearsed show. Whitley country music, primary style.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Wellington Youth Band. A nice round of applause. They've played marvellously for you this afternoon. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, the Wellington Youth Band. I'm afraid the weather is closing in a little, but since we managed to get through the majority of the afternoon, before it's come too bad, it would have been a lot worse off this afternoon, believe you me. Okay, that's the ring clear, please. Let the band come straight through. Well, this is your new crew for this year. Lorraine Eaton protesting round, along with your president of the Rose Free State, Mr. Nick Carey, and her attendants and crown bearer and the train bearers there, absolutely marvellous. They've stood the weather remarkably well, haven't they, for you?
This hot-shot pool potter wins yet another £1. The things some people do to be noticed. Watch the girl in the white anorak. A never-ending supply of prizes ensures a never-ending queue of people willing to try their luck on the tombola. "1991 was the 75th anniversary of the formation of the Cub Scout movement by Lord Baden-Powell in 1916. Each pack could have a special flag made for that year, and many were sent all over the world. Whitley Cub Pack had 2 identical flags made by Valerie Rowe, known as Bagheera, to her cubs. One flag was kept with the pack, and the other was taken to South Africa and Korea, where the World Jamboree was being held. In order to win a goldfish, it takes 90% luck and 10% skill. Nevertheless, it remains an exceptionally popular game, especially with the young. The crowds keep rolling in until the very last fish goes to its new home. The children won't give up. They want to keep on trying. We could have had a fish and chip supper for what this lot's cost. home on the range. The ponies give great pleasure to the little ones. They don't seem to mind who or what is on their backs, just as long as they can have a quick munch of some hay in between rides. A disorganised warm-up on the greasy pole before the serious competition starts in earnest. Robert Horton acts as a very brave referee, risking life and limb. He loves it really though.
You zitty old man.
Some people just have to have the last word, or should we say punch? Unihoc again was fast and furious, certainly not for the faint-hearted. The goalkeepers both came under fire as plenty of ace shots hurtled at them. Marathon man Dave Bettles decided to give it a go this year. Get stuck in, Dave, keep the goals out. The match and the day's events were brought to an abrupt and very soggy end when a very heavy rainstorm swept across the field. Darest we say it, may we have better weather next year.